everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I will be showing you what are the basic tools that you need to complete a full face of makeup for beginners, maybe I would say. This video was actually requested by my cousin Heidi, so shout out to you, long overdue. So here it is, girl, this one's for you and to anybody else out there that needs a little help, a little direction, a little guidance with what brushes to use. So not only am I going to be letting you know what brushes to use, but I'm going to be also showing you and giving you a little demo on the basics. One thing I love about makeup is that there is no right or wrong way to do your makeup, and like you can use one brush for multi-use. For your base, you can use your hands to apply your moisturizer, of course, or if you're feeling a little fancy, you can use a stippling brush to apply serums and stuff like that. That's always nice if you don't want to use your hands. And then moving on to foundation, there are so many options, there's so many cool things, there's so many ways to switch it up. A must for sure is a beauty blender. Even if you're not gonna apply straight off your foundation with it, I recommend finishing with a beauty blender because it just blends everything in so seamless. And to actually apply your foundation, there's so many different brushes. My start off brush was a flat kabuki brush. So this is a kabuki brush. The one that I used was flat, but this is perfect. The brush like this puts your foundation on so nice. But also you can use something like this. This one's more together. This one's looser, and for this one you would go like this. You wouldn't just swipe because it's so together, you know, like that. It's gonna move the product all around. Another one would be, it's an e.l.f. Dome stipple brush. When it's a stippling brush, you don't wanna move around the product like this, and if you do, you want to go back in and stipple because it's just gonna be messy. You're gonna see the streaks on your face and you don't want that. You can also use a little painting brush, kind of like painting your canvas. I like to do this sometimes. I'll apply the foundation in the back of my hand, go like this, and then I'll just apply the foundation on my face, and then I'll blend it in with the beauty blender, and that is a perfect look. Beauty blender. Look at that. Beautiful, nice and even. I love. Look at that. And now so you just buff, and that is gonna look very seamless. I love, it's a little bit, this one you have to work more for it. So then I'm gonna use this kabuki brush, and you can just, you see this blends it out much easier because all the bristles aren't so together. Buffing is so important as opposed to just sweeping the product all around your face. You always want to buff it in. Another tip I want to give you is you don't need to get the beauty blender from Sephora. That's $20. I'll list them down below. Real Techniques is really good. This brand is really good. I forgot what it's called. This brand is amazing. I'm gonna link that one below as well. But you do want to avoid the hard sponges. Usually the ones in the pharmacies that are like $5–6 and they're really hard, it's not going to give you that beautiful look that you want. And definitely get your lids whenever you put your foundation on. Put it on your lids everywhere, even over your brows. Also when you wet the beauty blender to help you so that nothing is coming out, I always use a napkin and or a towel, and you just soak up the product, and that's perfect. No, Sally. Oh my gosh, she's still there. This is another really great brush from Real Techniques that you can use to apply your foundation. And again, you just buff, and just try to avoid going like this so much, you know, just buff, and then finish with the beauty blender always. For cream contour cream products, Sally, you're blocking my light. If you have something like this where the contour is right here, you can obviously use your finger. Always, your fingers are always a great tool. You can even use your fingers to apply foundation. I would just experiment and play around with it, you know. I would use a brush like this, or even the same one, foundation brush like this, even maybe a little stippling brush, tiny like this. Sorry that it's dirty, but yeah. And to blend this out, I'm gonna use my favorite brush ever, which can also be used for foundation, but I love blending cream products with this brush right here. I'll list down everything I use in the description box if you're interested. So and I want to show you how you can use this brush very lightly, just very light. Don't go in with a harsh hand. Just the same way, another tip that I have for you is when you're applying anything on your face, even your foundation, have a light hand, because you don't need to be so rough. You have to think about it like it's your skin, it's the outside part of your skin, your canvas. So you're just painting on the canvas. You don't need to go, you're not like doing skincare where you need to get into your skin, you know. And that's literally how simple it is. I'm gonna do the other side with this so you get. And when you're applying your bronzer, try to go up like this. For something like a liquid concealer, I recommend these kind of brushes, or just for concealers in general, something like this. Small, circular, gets into that area. Another one, small, circular, gets in that area. And this is actually a dome shadow brush, but I feel like it's still really good for underneath your eyes. And you can also just go in with the painter's brush underneath your eyes. And that is mostly if you're using a cream concealer, so something like this. When your concealer is like this, you can go right in with your beauty blender if you want, but I recommend using a little brush, one of these dome brushes, and just again tap on your skin. And I'll show you how this one works as well. It's a Real Techniques brush. And then you can go in with your beauty blender, always, and just look up. And now I want to show you how it would be with a concealer like this that's in the pot. My painter's brush, and here I go. Painting the canvas. use the painter's brush. So the painter's brush comes in very, very handy because you can use this to clean up your eyebrows as well, to clean up your contour if you feel like it's a little, you know, a little too low or needs to just get cleaned up. And then once it's like this, you can go in with a brush like this and just go around. Like around. Always, always your beauty sponge. Look up. These little things matter. When you look up, it does make a difference. Maybe you see the difference. I really do. And then just go into my whole lid with that. Like a liquid blush, you could use your hands to blend it in. Just using your 2 fingers or these 2 because they're lighter. And then of course the beauty blender. And if you don't want to use your fingers, I really love a stippling brush with liquid blush. This is my favorite one, flat stippling brush. Alright, so when it comes to setting your under eyes, you want a baking powder or a regular powder if you want, if you don't want like super bright or just, you know, match your color. You can use a brush for this depending on the coverage you want, or you can use powder puffs. These are amazing. If you want a brush option, I recommend using something like this. Again, this is Real Techniques, and you can just go pop, pop, pop. You just grab your product and just, there you go, you set that in place. And again, you want to kind of like, not like squint, but like this part, look up. And there you go. This is no baking at all. And look at that. My favorite is the powder puff because I feel like I can do this same effect with this, or I can go for more full coverage and just for baking, you know, it's perfect. Look up, and there you go. Look at that. And that's pretty much all you do. Just do that if you want to bake. If you don't want to bake, you just take it out right away. When you leave this much product on, this brush comes in super handy also because you just can pat it away like that. I'm not trying to bake right now, so. And then the remainder on my lids to set them, since I do have foundation and concealer a little bit on them. And there you go. You can already see this one's just looks a little nicer for some reason. It's just like more full coverage this side, you see, and the way that I picked it up. And now to set my whole face with a powder, I recommend using brushes like this, like the big brushes, and then brushes like this. This one's good too. Real Techniques, Eco Tools, Jaclyn Hill. Or for your whole face, you can also use the powder. Even the one we use for foundation, we can use this to set our whole face with powder. For something like a pressed powder like this one, my favorite way is this brush. Just literally take all that product, some excess out, and you buff that in there like that. Or if you have loose setting powder, you can use my favorite brush, actually, this one. And then I have this Jaclyn Hill powder. And you also want to set where you bake. And just in case, if you don't want to use loose setting powder, you just want to use a shade like this, or like this for your under eyes. Again, a brush like this is perfect, and I'm gonna use the yellow shade, so this is gonna brighten my eyes a lot. So I'm just gonna go like that. Look at that. Do the same thing, just like that, and that's it. Bronzing brush, I would recommend an angled brush like this, or one like this. This one came like this, but I realized that when you're actually working it on your face, you have to angle it. I mean, Sephora contouring precision brush 79. I will list everything down below again. So I'm going to show you. Moving on to this brush. A brush like this. And something like this works as well, because this one is so fluffy. You want something fluffy for your blush, but not as fluffy as this, if you know what I mean. Okay, so for eyeshadow, I recommend 3 brushes. Obviously, you can use more, but the main brushes I think are 3. The first one is a fluffy crease brush. It even goes to as fluffy as this, which is also a multi-purpose brush. It is a Morphe M510. This gives me beautiful shadow. Don't be intimidated by how fluffy it is. And then a smaller tapered blending brush, so you can get in the corners or in the crease. And then a flat brush for your lid or for under your eyebrow. I'm going in with the fluffy palm brush. And then this one, doesn't have to be as fluffy as this one, but something like this. And it's more tapered, so you have more control. You see, you have more control when, let me do another color, when working it into your crease. You have all the control. It's not moving around all over the place. Like this one's more like all over the lids, as you saw, but this one will not lead you astray. It'll just stay on the crease. And this is the Sigma, what is this? E35. This is one of my first brushes, which is crazy. And then with this little brush, I'm just gonna blend it out. Just turn into a little mini tutorial. Also, I like brushes like this for the inner corner. Even for the lid, you could use your finger, but you do want a very good crease brush for sure. It's like a major key, a very good blending brush. That's like your go-to. This has been my go-to for so long. Like, I literally got this in like what, 2012, and I'm still using it, you know? Just goes to show you don't need to have a million brushes. You really don't. Now, for eyebrows, you want to use a brush like this, a skinny brush, or an angled liner brush for any pomade that you're using, or even any powder. And now I'm just cleaning up my eyebrows with a brush like this, a flat brush. last but not least, would be highlight. So for highlight, a nice fan brush is always good. The OG, even the big fluffy ones, those are good as long as you get it on the points that you need. Or you can use the big fluffy shadow brush. That one's also really good. My camera died, but I'm filming on my phone, my iPhone 12, and the quality almost looks better. Like, what? But anyways, that concludes this video. I hope that it was helpful for you. I hope that you learned some tips and that this steers you in the right direction when you're doing your makeup. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll be back with more videos.